welcome to my channel. Welcome to Central Innovations TV. This is the Wednesday night live. I know it's not nighttime, I realize this, but it is such a beautiful day today, and my day is kind of jam-packed, so I wanted to make sure that I got this live in today. I didn't want to skip over you guys this week because the topic for this week is super uber important, and I feel like someone needs to hear this message. So I hope that you guys can hear me, that my audio is clear. I know it's super loud out here. I might have to go sit in my car, but we're gonna try it out here, okay? So today's topic is going to be about how to leave a long-term relationship or an abusive relationship. Hey, how you doing? Holly or Holy Negro? What's up? Okay, so I just want to go ahead and get to this topic. I just want to let you know that we do lives every Wednesday night, normally at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, but again, I have some things going on today and I'm not going to be able to make it tonight, but I wanted to make sure I did this live. But normally we're here every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and come on over to the website, www.centralinnovations.com. You can sign up for a membership, it's free, or you can become a paid member and get all of the videos that I will be posting on the website, because I have officially stopped posting recorded videos. And the reason for that is because I want to make sure that I am rewarding the members who are actually in this for the long haul, okay? I see some of you guys are tuning in. Let's see who's here. King Ronnie, Ron, Messiah, what's up? It's good to see you too. Okay, so let me go ahead and get started. Oh, just a few announcements before I get started. So the pre-order for my book, The Creation of a Narcissist, book by book, is on the website, so you can go and check that out. I was letting you guys know that I do have some other publications that will be coming out, okay? So just stay tuned for that. And I think that's pretty much all of the announcements that I have for you. Oh, yes. 35 Ways and Days to Payday is still going on. The holiday contest is still going on. Next Wednesday, I will be drawing for the winner. So please come over to my Instagram. It's Princess to Goddess 100, so that you can get in on this contest, okay? I know you guys are going to see my face super huge on this video, but that's okay. All right, so let me go ahead and get into this topic. This topic is super important because I know there are a lot of people who are going through situations in which they feel like they have no hope, they have no support, and I just want to let you know that you do have hope, there is hope, and there is support. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you the steps in which you can take in order to get out of a long-term relationship. This video is for anybody who is in a relationship who feels like they have become dependent on that person, but for some reason or another, they need to leave the relationship. Or for someone who has become a part of an abusive relationship and they need to make way out of the relationship, okay? So this is who this is for. You guys who are in the chat can stick around, that's fine. Maybe you have some questions. If not, that's fine too. If you guys are catching the replay, you can still make comments in the comment section, and if you have questions, I'll come back and answer them, okay? Hey, Michael Ray, how you doing? Hey, Jim Dude. Okay, all right, so let's get started. I'll be checking the chat periodically to see if there are any questions. All right, so I already told you who this video was for, all right? Now, if you're deciding to leave your relationship, there are a few things that you need to consider before you actually start taking the steps to leave your relationship, okay? The first thing that you want to think about what you want to consider is the impact that it is going to have on your life. That is, for your children, the finance part, and just your overall change of lifestyle. If you're in a long distance relationship, if you're in a long-term relationship, and you have decided that this is something that you want to do, you want to leave, please make sure that you have considered these things, okay? And if you're in an abusive relationship, then you already know that you want to leave, right? But know that this is not going to be super easy, okay? I want to move over a little bit. It's getting so loud, guys. So you know what? I'm gonna take this to my car. It's beautiful, right? It's a beautiful day. Check it out. Anyway, so yeah, the impact that this is gonna have on your life. Make sure that you're well aware of the impact that this is gonna have, because a lot of times people are making decisions, and if you're not, this point in particular is for people who are not in an abusive relationship. This is for someone who is just thinking about leaving the relationship because they just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's time, or maybe they found somebody else, or I don't know. Okay, but just consider the impact that this is going to have on you and the life changes that you're about to make. Okay. What you want to ask yourself is, can you make this relationship work? Are you leaving this relationship because it is truly time for you to go? Or are you leaving this relationship because, you feel like you've given up, or maybe you feel like, this person is not who you thought that they were? Just really think about this, because if you're financially intertwined with someone, you're going to have to break finances, okay? You're going to have to make a lot of different changes. If you are indeed dependent financially upon whoever this is that you're in a relationship with, there are going to be some major changes, okay? All right, now, if you are in an abusive relationship, I want you to know that you are not to blame for the abuse that's happening in the relationship. It is not your fault. And if someone cannot control themselves and they're always lashing out or putting their hands on you, this is not your fault. Yes, everyone, has disagreements, and everyone has a right to voice their opinions, but no one has a right to put their hands on you, to take out their anger on you, or anything like that. You deserve to be treated with respect. You deserve to be happy. And if you think that this is the best that you can get, I'm here to tell you that this is not the best you can get. You can find someone who is going to love you and respect you, and not put their hands on you when they get upset, okay? And if you have children, I want you to know that your children deserve better. A lot of times people stay in relationships because of the kids, but what they don't understand is that when you stay in an abusive relationship, or you stay in a volatile relationship where people are arguing all the time and no one is, really happy, you are putting your children in a situation to where they're going to have long-term effects when they get older, okay? It is better for you to leave a relationship that you're not happy in, that is abusive. It's better for you to leave, especially when you have children, than to stay in the relationship and to try to make it work. Because what you're doing is you're teaching your children that what is happening in front of their eyes is okay, and it's not okay. And the last thing I want you to know is, if you're in an abusive relationship, you do have support. You're not alone. And there are people that are waiting and willing to help you. There are all types of organizations that have been set up, all types of support systems that have been set up just for people like you, for someone who needs the help, who wants to leave, and they're looking for assistance, okay? So you are not alone, and there is plenty of support, okay? Now that I've said all of that, I'm gonna go ahead and go into the different things that you need to do in order to prepare yourself to leave this relationship. Again, this video is for anybody who's in a long-term relationship and they just don't know what to do in order to get out of it, or if they're in an abusive relationship and they need to leave, okay? the first thing you need to do is come to the realization that this is what you want to do, or that this is indeed what you absolutely need to do. You need to have reasons as to why you're leaving. You need to know exactly why it is that you're leaving. And if you're in an abusive relationship, you need to know that you have to leave. You need to know that an abuser does not, 9 times out of 10, I say 9.999 times out of 10, an abuser does not change their ways, especially not in the current relationship that they're in. You will find that sometimes the abuser will go on to another relationship and they may not abuse that person. And it just depends on the dynamics of the relationship. But 9 times out of 10, in that current relationship, they do not change their actions. One, because now you've set up, it's almost like they're used to it now. You've set up a standard that they now are living by. You have not made any boundaries. You've not, set up any boundaries that say, no, this is not okay. And so 9 times out of 10, the abuser does not stop. And as a matter of fact, it gets worse. Okay. So these are things that you need to come to realization on when, as a first step. Chris Dorsey. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Now, the second thing that you need to do, now this is all mental work. The first 2 steps are mental work, because this is a big deal. Okay. If you're leaving a relationship, especially if you've been with them for a long time, it's gonna be a little rocky. It's gonna be a little scary. It's going to be, emotional. Okay. So the first 2 steps are definitely mindset. Okay. So the second step is you need a mindset change. You need to understand that once you do this, that it's done and there's no going back. Okay. And that's for people that have been in a long-term relationship. If there's no abuse going on in a relationship and you decide to leave for whatever reason, there is no undoing this. Okay. And for people who are in an abusive relationship, you need to understand that you don't need to undo this. You don't need to go back. You need to get into a mindset that this is what you're going to do, and you need to carry this out. That's it. You've made up your mind. This is the choice you're making, and you need to carry it out. There shouldn't be any plan Bs about returning. Okay. The third thing that you need to do, if you are in an abusive relationship, you need to tell at least one person. Now, don't go telling everybody, because you don't know who is, who. Sometimes people can just let things slip, and they might not even be, doing it on purpose. But you need to let one person know what your plans are, what you're getting ready to do, that you trust. Okay. Because if anything happens, if anything goes south, bad, whatever, you need that support. And if you do not have anybody that you feel like you can tell, then you need to make sure that you are contacting an abusive hotline or support line. Okay. And I have some rules concerning that as we go along, and I'll tell you about that. But you need to make sure that you're telling at least one person, somebody else outside of yourself, that knows what type of situation you're in and that you need to leave. Okay. The next thing that you need to do is get a bank account. Get a separate bank account. You need to make sure that you do not go to the same bank in which you have other bank accounts in. If you are in a city where there's only a limited amount of bank account, banks in the area, then find a credit union. If there are no credit unions, if you absolutely have to go to the same bank, make sure that you explain, or that you put on, you tell the teller that you absolutely don't want anybody else on this account, And, you know, I don't know how you would, I wouldn't explain to them exactly what's going on because you don't know them. You don't know who your partner knows. So I would just make sure that they know that you're the only person that's going to be on this account, okay? A lot of times when you call into a bank or whatever, they keep your information confidential. So if anybody's calling about your affairs, your account or anything like that, they normally can't get that type of information. So, but I would just suggest that you go to a completely different bank or credit union just to, you know, make sure that you don't have any mishaps, okay? Now, the next thing you need to do is put some money in that account. A lot of times, if you're in an abusive relationship, you may not have a relationship, you may not have a job, or you, like, maybe the abuser has control over your money. So I would say you need to either find a way to make some extra money some other way, or you need to tell your family and see if they can, you know, give you some money, or just find creative ways to get some extra money so that you can put money in that account. If your abuser is indeed like watching your money, then you need to make sure that you are getting money from a source that they cannot they can't trace, they don't know about, okay? And for people that are just in a relationship that are trying to leave a long-term relationship, just make sure you get a separate account. For you, I guess it really doesn't matter if it's in the same bank or a different one, but just make sure that you are now separating your things so that when this all goes down, if this person has any like ill feelings about it, that they can't just go into your bank account and snatch all your money, okay? Because people will do that. People are a little ratchet these days. So, you know, just in case they become upset about it or whatever, they don't go in there and just like take all your money, you know. So yeah, have another bank account and put some money in it. Okay, the next thing that I will say, and this is for both groups of people, is to make sure that you have found a place to go. For individuals who are just leaving, you know, find an apartment, go sign a lease, you know, that should be relatively easy. Make sure that you don't have any like foreclosures or anything like that on your background, because it may be a little difficult. And if that is the case, then, you know, maybe you want to find a friend to room with, or maybe you can find a room to rent from somewhere, okay? If you're in an abusive relationship, again, make sure that you find a place to go. Also, you can try and find a lease, an apartment, rent a house, and if necessary, it may be safer for you to just go and live with someone else, okay? But you want to make sure that you have some place to go, because once you leave, you need to be able to create a new life for yourself. So make sure you have somewhere to go. And in that, if you have children, your children are going to need a new school. Hey, Camilla, how you doing? Your children are going to need a new school. So make sure that you have like their documentation. Make sure that you go to the school and you transfer the kids over or whatever. Just whatever it is you feel like, you know, if you want to look at a place based off the type of school, you know, like the school system, like what schools are good or whatever, then do that. But keep in mind that you will need to either transfer the children to another school, or if you have the ability to, you can even homeschool them too. That's fine. Okay. So once you find a place, now this message right here is for someone in particular who may be in an abusive relationship, okay? Be ready any moment's notice to leave. Okay, so that means that you need to make sure that you have like gas in your car all the time. Make sure you have an emergency cash stash. Make sure that you have clothes that you've packed, important numbers in that bag, along with any documents that may be important, like social security cards, birth certificates. And make sure that you put all this stuff in a safe place. A safe place is not your car, okay? Because anything can happen, and you know, maybe you won't have your car. But a safe place would be like, I don't know, a friend's house, or that person we talked about that you're telling about your situation. Maybe you can leave it over there at their house, okay? That's a safe place, because at any moment, if you need to leave, you need to make sure you have access to these things. And if you're leaving at a moment's notice, you don't know if you're going to be leaving in your car or what method you're going to be using to leave. So make sure that you leave the stuff in a place that's accessible outside of your home and outside of your car. Preferably with someone, again, that you trust, over to a friend's house or something like that. I'm sorry, I have to hold this with my hand. Again, I did not plan on doing this video right now, but it's important. It's very important. Okay. Okay, now we talked about calling. If you feel like you don't have anyone, you're gonna be calling a hotline. And even if you do feel like you have someone, and I don't know, maybe you need like counseling services after this, or you just need some assistance, okay? If you don't have that cash, you don't have that money, and you're trying to get away, you're going to need to call a hotline. So make sure that when you call the hotline, when you call for some support and you need some assistance, do not call from your phone. Call from a phone that does not belong to you. Use somebody else's phone. And I would even suggest getting a second phone. But if you're in an abusive relationship and you need to get a second phone, you're going to need to make sure that you're putting that phone somewhere where it cannot be found, okay? But any calls that you make concerning your getaway, make sure that you're not using your phone, okay? You may need to get, if you're in an abusive relationship, or if you're just leaving this person, you may need to get a new job. So you might want to just start looking around in whatever place you decided that you're going to go to, whether it's to go live with someone else, or if it's to go and like you have a new apartment. Make sure that you look around in the area for new jobs. If you're just leaving the person that you're with, more than likely you can keep your old job, so this won't be an issue for you. But this tip in particular is for someone who is leaving the abusive relationship, who may need to find new employment, okay? A lot of people don't understand how serious an abusive relationship can get, how violent it can get, okay? So if you've never been in an abusive relationship and you're hearing this video, then I understand, your shock value to what I'm saying. But for those who are in an abusive relationship and you're hearing me talk, you understand how abusive this person can be and how controlling and demanding that they can be. So you need to make sure that you're taking every precaution that you can to be safe and to not give off any signs that you are trying to leave, because you don't want to tick them off. And majority of relationships in which a person is is being abused, it ends in hospitalization or death, okay? So it's very serious, and it's very important that you are doing what you need to do to get to safety, and you're being cautious and you're taking safety measures in order to do that, okay? Okay, aside from the employment and all the other things, we talked about the bank account and getting the money and all that. Make sure that you change your passwords and your usernames on any accounts that you may have. If you're using social media, you need to stop posting. Do not be posting anything on social media. As a matter of fact, just you might want to get away from that for a while, okay? Make sure you change your passwords and your usernames. And the last thing that I want to tell you is that if you're doing any planning, make sure that you're not doing any of this planning while you're at home. This day and age, recorders, cameras, and different things of that sort are easily placed and hidden. So don't make any phone calls or anything like that while you're in the home if you're, in an abusive relationship. Make sure that any planning that you do outside the home. Now, if you're in the sort of relationship that you don't leave the house, because there are those too, make sure that you try and do this in such a way that it can't be traced. So I don't know, maybe you have a neighbor, go next door, that's what I would suggest. Make friends with your neighbor, unless unless your neighbor and the abuser are really good friends, but if this is the case, if you're in a house, right, and you can't find any way to start planning to get away because the abuser is just that tight on you, then it is time for you right now to grab anything that you can grab, documents, clothing, all that. And you need to leave the house. You need to get a phone, call the hotline, and you need to go. You need to go. Because if it's that serious as to where you cannot plan to leave, it's time for you to go. Okay. So I hope that this message reaches the person that it is intended for. I'm not sure why I was so urged to do this message so early in the day. You guys, I don't come on until 8 o'clock tonight usually, but this was the message for today. This was the live, and I wanted to make sure I do it. I hope this helps you. I hope that if you need any assistance, you can contact me. I have all of my username information in the description. You can come over to the website and become a member or whatever. But again, if you need any help, make sure that you call a hotline. In your area, there are people that are going to help you and assist you to get to safety. The number one factor for people that are in an abusive relationship is to make sure that you can do this in a safe manner. Okay? I love you guys. And I really, really hope that this has helped you. All right. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.